All right, well, welcome back to Smart Ways to Live Well with Nuview Nutrition. Today we have two special guests with us that are going to share their story on healing, but also just living a healthier lifestyle and what it actually inspired them to change what they were actually doing. Donna and Allan are both with us today, and we are welcoming you as part of Sweetest Day celebration.
Thank you.
And because your story is just like amazing. You guys did this together.
Yes.
And as I recall, Donna, you were struggling with some health issues.
Very much so. For
Yeah.
a whole year.
And tell them about that.
Boy, it started out probably a year and a half ago, and I was congested. It felt like an allergy. So then I was suffering from acid reflux. And so I went to my family doctor, and she would look at the inflammation and just prescribe antibiotics and a breathing treatment, and nothing worked. And then I went to a specialist, and same thing, antibiotics, breathing treatment, and it didn't work. It just didn't work. So I continued to take antibiotics. They'd up the dose because it wasn't working, so it meant more. And then in February of last year, maybe late January, you had a meet and greet.
Yes, yes.
And I thought, well, it couldn't hurt, just to find out more about our nutrition and eating, and because I was still sick, and just not getting better. And so I had a discussion. I listened to your presentation.
Okay.
And I discussed my symptoms with you, and you said, Donna, I think I can help you.
Right. And I remember when you came in, Allan came with you, right?
Yeah.
As support.
Yeah.
He was
That's
just
right.
going to be there for support.
Right, exactly.
And Allan, you're pretty healthy. You weren't having any issues.
I was not having any health issues. I knew I was a few pounds over what I wanted to be, so there was some incentive to eat healthier. But my main reason for signing up was, well, if Donna's signing up, I'll be right there with her, and let's do this together.
That's true love.
Yes, it is. That's why we've got you guys featured here today, because together, you guys were able to make really significant changes.
We did.
And then once you started implementing, tell the viewers like what that was like and what it did for you and kind of how it all evolved.
Well, I can start out. The first day of our plan, we were on vacation.
Wow.
And we thought, how can we do this on vacation? No road snacks?
Right.
No chips, no pop, no candy. That's what we eat on the road.
Normally.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we decided to pack our fresh fruit and vegetables and nothings. And it worked. And then we found restaurants that served great food.
You just have to know what to ask for.
Exactly. And then it always comes with bread and potatoes. We'd always say no bread and potatoes, and they'd look at us in shock because it was free, or it was, with
part
the
of the meal.
Part of the meal. And it was delicious. It was great. It wasn't very difficult.
No.
And did you feel satisfied when you were on vacation?
Very much so.
Like you weren't like feeling like,
no,
this is...
No, never.
Good.
Because what we were eating was more satisfying and filling. We weren't craving. We weren't craving the sweets and the salts.
Yeah.
And it took a couple weeks, but we were gone 2 weeks on the road, and it just was perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
And probably had better energy.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just pretty amazing, because never in a million years would I ever think of making choices like I did.
Right.
Because I was bread, potatoes, dairy, everything. Sugar,
Cereal.
Sweets, cereal, my desserts in the evening. I mean, that was habit for me, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I had friends that were eating clean, and I said, well, fine for you, but
I don't need that.
I don't need that. But then when I got sick, it was no choice. It was just, I had to do something,
So when we look at what Donna was dealing with, a lot of it was inflammatory process.
Yes.
It was inflammation that was creating mucus. It was creating heartburn, which is GERD. And that's, it was very severe for you. The heartburn was, as I recall, pretty powerful.
Oh,
and,
it was.
Like crippling, as you would say. Like it just takes your breath away.
It does.
So,
I panicked because I wasn't able to swallow, and then breathing. I almost felt like I needed to go to ER for assistance. It was that bad. and then that's
Well,
the
and when you look
choice.
at the foods that fuel that, was everything you were eating.
Yeah.
You know, processed foods,
Oh, yeah.
high in sugar,
Yeah.
high in saturated fat.
Yeah.
They're all inflammatory. Mucus,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of dairy, all mucus producing.
Right.
So when we customized a program for you,
Mm-hmm.
and then Allan decided to jump on board as well, and because he wasn't dealing with a lot of ailments, he
No.
could pretty much follow the same protocol,
Yes.
just different calorie count.
Yes.
Because of course you're, you know, a bigger body,
Right.
you need more calories than what she would need.
Yes.
And then you were able to do this and maintain your lifestyle as well. So now just share with what you noticed, like all of a sudden what started transpiring. What did you notice in your health that started changing?
Well, I could breathe again. I could start breathing through my nose. My
Nice.
taste came back. My smell came back.
Huge.
Yeah, that was huge. And of course, I didn't have that problem with feeling a lump in my throat of that acid coming up.
So the food would go down.
So the food was digesting properly, and it was just like a miracle for me because, you know, I was cured and I didn't have to have any medicines to do that. It was just what I was eating.
Yes.
And now, you know, if it's just like you really are what you eat.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
I just turned 66, and I thought, why did it take me that long to figure it out?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I should have done this.
And it's never
years
too
ago.
late.
No, it's never too
It's
late.
not too late.
But I thought, boy, if I did this as a younger person, how much better my life would be.
Oh.
The quality of my life would
Yeah.
be. You know.
Well, what we always say is, you know, what we ate 20 years ago
Yeah.
is affecting us now.
Yes.
But what we eat now is going to affect us in the next 10 to 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
So those years are very important because you guys are living in retirement now.
Yes, we are.
And that's when you want to have the best time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got to be healthy. And Allan, if you can share
Sure.
with the viewers, I would love to hear. I'm sure they would be very interested in knowing what you guys do because I think it's amazing. Can you talk about the
Sure.
music and?
Well, we're both retired, and in our retirement occupation, or I shouldn't call it occupation because it's more fun than work, we make music together. I play piano, Donna plays violin, and this year I think we had 50 gigs in senior centers, in addition to we're in a Rochester senior group called the Rusties, that's a 20-piece band.
I just love that.
Donna's
It is
the
fun.
featured violin player, and so we love making music. We love travel. We love our grandkids, and those are probably what's keeping us most busy in our retirement years.
Well, and you guys, you don't waste any time. I mean, every time I see you on Facebook, you're kayaking or you're hiking.
Yeah.
Right.
You're traveling. You just went to Italy.
Yes, we
Right.
did.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you went to Italy, you did a pretty adventurous hiking trip.
We
It was
did.
a hiking
Right?
tour, yes, on the Amalfi Coast, the Path of the Gods, which is a cliff overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, and we walked. Some days I had 20,000 steps on my Fitbit, and but it was aggressive, hilly, and
Yeah.
but we did it.
And you have to be healthy to do these things.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's a
And-
requirement. In fact, you can't go on
Yeah.
this tour unless you can walk the walk.
Yeah, and I
So-
watched some of that on video, right,
Yeah.
on Facebook, and
Yeah.
it was an adventurous trip.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, you know, in all reality, I just look at you can't put a price on your health
No,
because if you don't have your health, what do you have?
yeah.
And Allan, the benefit for you is you ended up how much
yes.
how much weight did you lose?
Well, in the 20-week lifestyle program, I'm down 40 pounds, but I lost a couple before I started the program. But my final results was down 37 pounds total, but I actually lost 42 pounds of fat, gained 5 pounds of muscle. My fat percent went from 27% to 9%.
Wow.
And
Lean.
and all I basically did was
looks
I
great.
did what I was told by Carly, my nutritionist on
Yeah.
your team, and I think to me the biggest surprise is that how my taste buds have changed. That
Yes.
I'm eating things that a year ago I think, no, I wouldn't ever like that. I could not live without this or that, but. The truth is, your taste buds are not permanent. I think, and the things that I love to eat now, I love just as much as I did the stuff that I used to have that was
Exactly.
not as
Yes,
good
you
for
don't
me.
really
So,
miss it.
No,
Not at
no,
all.
not at all.
Not at all.
Your
In
taste
fact,
buds have memory, and when
Yeah.
after like 3 to 4 weeks, that memory's gone. unless the food comes back in, and then it might trigger that memory.
Yeah.
The phrase that stuck in my head was that we were on our grocery store tour with Brittany and your team, and she said, think of it as fuel for your Ferrari, and that rang a bell with me. It was that's right. You wouldn't put if you bought a $300,000 sports car, you wouldn't put cheap gas in there. So isn't your own body worth more than that? And why not put premium fuel and
Absolutely.
That was a good analogy.
It is, because it's the reality. You wouldn't put the fuel in one tank to go to Florida. You're going to have to refuel along the way, right?
Exactly.
And even when you guys are hiking and vacationing, you've got to have those healthy foods options so that you can refuel the body, so that it has continued endurance. Yeah.
One thing with doing the program together, because as a female, my weight loss was not as quick as Allan's. So I had to stay motivated because he was losing 10 pounds and I was losing 1.
Yes, totally true.
I had more to lose.
And so it was a little frustrating in the beginning. But I could tell in my clothes that they were getting looser.
Inches were shedding.
And I was happy with that. But most importantly, the weight loss was secondary.
Yeah, it's the side effect.
The side effect was great. It was the health issue that I was really just celebrating because, I was miserable for a year and a half, and it's no longer like that. And I just want to thank you.
Oh, you guys are so welcome. It's so rewarding for Nuview and for the nutritionists that work there, because that is our reward when clients get the results and we can share in that celebration.
And it truly
that's
is
what
amazing.
keeps us all in the game, right? And, and you guys stay in the game because you're feeling healthier, you're having more energy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the payoff is there.
Yeah, and my fear is if I ever revert to my old way, it's like I'll get sick again, and that worries me. So I will stay on the straight and narrow because
and we have no reason to switch because we like what we're eating.
We love what we're eating.
And it's healthy.
Good. It really is good, and we're not scrimping. I mean, our serving sizes are pretty generous, and we're still keeping the weight off.
Yeah,
that's a good point because other diets are built on deprivation, and if anything,
we're not at all.
To follow the plan, seemed like I was always eating every 2 hours something. Just
he was always eating.
People usually will say it's too much food in the beginning.
For me it was.
Yeah, and they'll usually be like a little afraid of it in the sense that, I'm going to gain weight. No. You're underfueled. Most people are underfueled.
Yeah, and Brittany would encourage me, and she'd look at my diet plan, my weekly diary, and she'd say, you're not eating enough of, X or Y. And I said, well, I'm not that hungry, but, you really need to.
Yeah, for health.
For health. And so it was just interesting because I wasn't used to that.
Right, and if you don't let your body get into that depleted state, you're not going to risk wanting something else, right?
Yeah.
Because you never really should feel hungry.
No,
Just like you should never really feel thirsty, because if you're properly hydrated, you won't feel the thirst.
Yeah.
But if you're thirsty, that's telling you you're already dehydrated.
Right.
It's already time.
Yeah.
And we always want to keep our body from being in deficit. We want to always, I like the buckets, right? You've got it, when you come in, you have a detox bucket this high.
Yes.
And your nutrient bucket is empty.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is shift those, and that's what we've done. We've taken down the toxins and we've refueled the body, just like that Ferrari.
I don't know how common this is, but about a week into the program, I was feeling almost like an exorcism happening. It's like tingling of my skin. It's like what's happening to me? I almost felt like the toxins were escaping my. I was getting rid of the toxins, and
your cells are coming back to life.
That wasn't
just like with the taste and the smell.
Yeah.
Those are just deadened areas.
Yeah.
Those are starting to rejuvenate.
Yeah.
Same thing, Allan, and a lot of people may even have hair fall out in the beginning of a program. And that is because the hair was already dead, the shaft was already dead, and now it's shedding because the nutrients are allowing new to come in. But people will often think that it's a bad thing, and it's a good thing. And again, those toxins are leaving, cells are rejuvenating. So that's great.
Yeah, another thing I noticed is a minor scratch. I'm a gardener, and I would get little scratches in the garden, and they'd heal faster.
Oh yeah.
And Brittany would tell me that your cells are healthier, and it's causing that to happen. To heal faster.
Yes.
And better, because I would always scar, and now it's different.
Yeah.
So I just thought, wow.
There's a lot of benefit.
I had an issue with dry skin on my fingers for years, And I never would have guessed that would be anything related to diet, but it turned out that my skin is great now, and it's the functional medicine that you are what you eat, and everything's related to your diet. So,
and when we're all connected, right? Everything's connected, and even with the skin is the largest organ on the body. And it needs to be hydrated, but also getting the gut function to do a better job, because as we age, we start losing our gastric acid, and our enzymes get a little depleted. So getting all that to work, and then getting the food to where it needs to go, so it can nourish.
Yes.
And then also, most people are deficient on omega-3 fatty acids. And we make that part of our program. We want to get those healthy fats on board. And so that also probably played a role.
Yeah.
The fatty acids, the hydration, the food.
Interesting. So
I
interesting.
liked how much I learned in the program. That
Me too.
I realized that what I knew about nutrition was outdated. That I remember taking a conditioning course in part of my college degree, and being told never have an egg yolk. That's
That was a bad thing.
But research advances, and information changes. I remember in my mind I kept that food pyramid in my head, where the bottom of the pyramid is a lot of the things I'm not having anymore, and you realize that things change in the food world and the nutrition world, and research, and it helps to have good, solid, up-to-date information.
Yeah, and the egg yolks we know are very full of choline, and choline is very good for the brain health. So it's actually can be very beneficial. Again, not one size fits all, but for most people, it can be a really good thing. And nutrition is ever changing, and we can hardly keep up with the data. Like literally, I'm reading 4 books at once most of the time. And the girls in the office are usually reading different ones, so that we can always share what we're learning. But the information is changing so quickly, you have to always be up to date, and it's a full-time job in itself, just staying up on top of it.
We appreciate how knowledgeable you and your staff are, and how supportive and encouraging and understanding they are, because that helps you through the process as well.
Oh yeah, you need that support in the beginning, especially because you're changing everything that you've been told to do for like years, right?
Exactly.
And everything's changing, and so we try to give you all those tools to make it easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's important.
Yeah.
So
but
you
we
can be
relied
successful.
on their expertise, and it was just phenomenal what they would tell us.
Good. That's awesome.
You
I'm
have a
so
great
happy you
staff.
guys had a great
Thank you.
experience.
We did.
I'm no longer an extra large. In fact, this evening I'm giving 15 shirts away to a friend of mine who is an extra large. And so
Nice.
now I need to replenish my own wardrobe.
That's great. That's always a good thing to hear, right? Well, thank you guys so much for
Thank
being
you,
here and
Cindy.
sharing your story with everybody, so that maybe other people can benefit as well.
I hope so.
There's so many people suffering from some of the same issues with the heartburn and the sinuses and all of that.
I would have never guessed that was food related. I
Right.
thought it was an upper respiratory, the lungs,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
And most people would not know that,
No.
right?
Uh-uh.
So again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you.
again, join us for another episode. And if you want more information, you can go to our website at nuviewnutrition.com. Thank you so much for joining us today.